We're just over halfway through the Major League Baseball season, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I was wrong about a lot of teams this year. Probably some of my worst predictions I've ever done, and this is coming from someone who consistently picks the Mets to win the World Series. So in today's video, I'm gonna go ahead and give my apologies and own up to my mistakes, because these are the teams in Major League Baseball that I was wrong about for the 2026 season. But first, I want to give a quick shout to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. The MLB season is in full swing. We've got the All-Star game coming up, and if you're anything like me, you want to be at games. That's why you go to SeatGeek and use my code Giraffe10 for 10% off your first purchase of MLB tickets on SeatGeek. There's also over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek right now, so you can go to baseball games, the World Cup's going on, you could buy some NFL tickets later down in the year. My personal favorite feature, of course, is their SeatGeek score. That's where they take tickets and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 to let you, the buyer, know if you're getting a good deal or not. So when searching for tickets and you see a green dot on the map or a SeatGeek score closer to 10, that means it's a good deal. You should buy those tickets. When you see tickets with a score closer to 1 with a red or even orange dot on the map, that means it's not a good deal. You don't need to buy those. So once again, I've got the hookup for you guys. Use my code Giraffe10 for 10% off your first purchase of MLB tickets on SeatGeek. So make sure you click the link in the description, download the SeatGeek app to have it automatically added to your account. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to it. Of course, if we're starting off this video about teams that I was wrong about, we have to start with my New York Mets. Now, I didn't pick the Mets to win the World Series this year. I didn't think they were a World Series team, but I did have them winning the National League East, and I probably couldn't be further from right on that prediction. The Mets are currently in last place right now, 14 games under 500, 15 games out of the National League East first place spot, and they're almost 10 games out of the wild card. The Mets absolutely stink, and I really didn't see this coming. I thought that the Mets could have had a disappointing season again, but I didn't think that they'd be one of the worst teams in all of Major League Baseball. From top to bottom, it's been an absolute disaster. The front office, David Stearns, has done a horrible job putting together a competitive baseball team in 2026. The moves that they made this offseason have basically all been absolute failures. Go figure, the bullpen's been the strongest part of this team. Unfortunately, they don't have leads because the starting pitching's been terrible and the offense has been terrible, so the bullpen's been locked down for basically no reason. We just fired our manager, Carlos Mendoza, who truthfully shouldn't have had the job coming into the season. David Stearns put him in a weird scenario where he got rid of all his coaches last year, but kept him as a lame duck manager, and it clearly set a weird mood and vibe from the start of the year because this team just never clicked. Juan Soto's been injured. Francisco Lindor's been injured. Bo Bichette's played every game, and up until the last month or so, he's been horrible. Marcus Semien was brought in and has been one of the worst players in baseball. Mark Vientos and Bear Beatty absolutely stink. They have been two of the worst players in Major League Baseball. Luis Robert was brought in to play center field, hasn't played in months. Jorge Polanco hasn't played in months. Freddie Peralta has not been good. Nolan McLean has taken a step back. Clay Holmes is out for a long time. Kodai Senga stinks. David Peterson was horrible. He got traded to the Cubs. The list goes on and on. There are a ton of issues with the New York Mets, but I never expected them to be this bad. But this is by far one of my worst misses of the 2026 season. The Mets absolutely stink. Another team that I was so insanely wrong about, the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays are in first place in the American League East, and while that division definitely is not as good as we thought it was going to be, I thought that they were going to finish in last place. I had the Rays as a 5th place team going into 2026, and right now, on June 28th, they're 48-33. They have a half-game lead over the New York Yankees, and they've been one of the best teams in baseball. I don't particularly know how they do it. I know some people have been talking about the Rays are breaking baseball again by essentially playing bad baseball to win games. I don't buy that. Truthfully, one of the best reasons why the Rays have been playing so well, you've got Junior Caminero, Yandy Diaz, and Jonathan Aranda carrying the offense, playing hero ball, and the pitching has been really good. The bullpen has been good. The Rays are having good pitching. Their defense is absolutely horrible. They don't really have power except for the 3 guys that I mentioned. I love the Tampa Bay Rays as an organization because they do so many forward-thinking things. They are innovators in the game of baseball. They've changed the way that it gets played throughout the years. They're one of the smartest orgs, but I'm not buying the fact that they've now bought into that. You need to put the ball in play and have speed and do all this stuff to be a winning team. They should still be a good team this year based on how they've played, but all the expected numbers and their win-loss record and all that, their run differential, their runs scored, their offense, it doesn't lead you to believe that they'd be the best team in the American League East, but hey, I was wrong. I thought the Rays were going to be terrible. I thought this was going to be a major reset year. And we're looking at a team who, at the trade deadline, could make some really fun acquisitions and become a very dangerous team in what is a super weak American League. The Rays have been great this year. I was wrong about them. I'm going to combine these two together, again, keep it in the National League East. I was wrong about the Marlins and the Nationals. I didn't think they were going to be this good, and I don't know if it's going to be sustained throughout the rest of the season, but the fact that right now, again, halfway through the year, they're both over 500, that was not something that I saw. I thought the Nationals were going to be pretty horrible this year, but obviously the new regime that they brought into Washington has really helped this organization turn around faster than they expected. They're a team that it would be really fun to see them try and buy at the deadline, give these young guys something to believe in, get them excited for a playoff push. After a weird start from the Marlins, they've been the best team in baseball in the month of June. I think they're 18-5, which is unbelievable. Both those organizations are really smart. Both those organizations are doing great things player development-wise. I thought that they were still at least a year or two away from seeing the successes really carry out consistently throughout the year. But we're over 80 games into the season. Like I said, halfway there, and they're both above 500. I was wrong about these teams. I didn't think that they were going to be this good. I thought they would be more competitive than they have been in the past, but I did not think that they were going to be legitimate wild card playoff contenders, and both of them are. I love watching both of these teams play. They're super fun. Again, as a Mets fan, I'm trying to watch as much baseball of everybody else besides my own team. Nationals are must-watch baseball every night. It's chaos, but it is fun. Back to the American League. This will be kind of, again, another mix together. Wow. I was so wrong about the Red Sox, and I was very wrong about the Blue Jays. I thought that these were going to be two of the stronger teams in the American League East, honestly, in the American League, and both of them stink. Blue Jays just can't get out of their own way. It seems like all the good vibes and all the good stuff that was happening last year, not working this year. They definitely have a ton of injuries, and that's a huge reason why the Blue Jays haven't been able to play consistently good baseball. But I thought because of the moves that they made this offseason, they kind of insulated themselves better from this issue. That's not the case at all. They're getting very little power out of a lot of their guys. Vladdy's not looked like Vladdy. You've had injuries at so many different positions. Kazuma Okamoto is great, but you're getting like almost no production out of Andres Jimenez. The outfield has been super shaky this year. The pitching's been shaky. The bullpen's been okay at times, but a lot of the guys that you relied on, you can't, and random guys that you didn't think would be good are good. Both these teams are struggling, but truthfully, the Red Sox, similarly to the Mets, are one of the most disappointing teams in all of Major League Baseball. Red Sox suck. This team stinks. Craig Breslow, I feel like, has taken this organization back a few years, where I thought that they were primed to start pushing forward because they had so many great young players. They had the pitching, they had the bullpen. It seemed like the Red Sox were ready to be a team that was going to compete this year, and they're 11 games under 500. A lot of their young players haven't played well this year or have been injured, Roman Anthony being one of them. Garrett Crochet being injured, and the kind of scariness around that injury has not been great. This was a team that I thought was going to be a heavy buyer this trade deadline, and they're going to be selling. Wilson Contreras has been one of the best pickups of the offseason, but it's kind of been for nothing because the rest of this Red Sox team stinks. They fired Alex Cora. It's been a mess in Boston. But that's enough of the East talk. Let's keep going throughout these divisions. NL Central, I got to give some credit to the St. Louis Cardinals. I thought they were going to be bad. I thought they were going to be really bad. Chaim Bloom came in, and he's a rebuilder. He builds up your farm system, does good player development stuff. I didn't think that they'd be above 500 at this point. I honestly didn't think they'd be above 500 really at all this season. Now, we have seen the Cardinals slow down as of late, and I do think that they probably do still end up around 500, slightly below 500 when all things are said and done. But they are in a position where they can make some moves this deadline, improve the team, and become a wild card contender. And they are way better than I expected. Again, I thought they were going to be a bottom-dwelling team. They're in the wild card right now. They're in the playoff race. JJ Weatherholt is phenomenal. Knew he was going to be a good player. Didn't think he was going to be this good. Love watching Alec Burleson play. Criminally underrated hitter in the league. Jordan Walker becoming one of the best hitters in baseball this season. What a huge jump forward for him, and what a huge help that is to the Cardinals organization. Go back to my 2020 MLB draft video. Love Jordan Walker, but he'd had such an up and down. I thought Ollie Marmol was a horrible manager, but now I see that the Cardinals got the right people around him, and it really wasn't his fault. It seemed like it was Mozeliak's fault. Cardinals are a fun baseball team to watch. Again, I don't know, how sustainable it's going to be. I don't know if they make the playoffs, but I like what I've seen, and I was so wrong about them because I really thought that they were going to be one of the worst teams in baseball. It was a young roster with a lot of question marks, and all those question marks have truly become positives. Because of that, the Cardinals are a good team. Shout out St. Louis Cardinals. What a shame. I hate the Cardinals, and their rebuild lasted, 2-3 years? It's ridiculous. AL Central. Oh boy. Man, the Tigers and the Royals suck. The Royals suck like way worse than the Tigers in my opinion, because the Tigers had the Tarik Skubal injury. They've had like steps back, but the Royals, you look at that team and you're like, there's not like many major league players on this roster. Huge step backs from a lot of guys on the team. Maikel Garcia has not been particularly good. Vinny Pasquantino has been horrible when he was healthy. Pitching's not been strong. Of course, you got more Cole Reagan's injuries because he can't stay healthy. Jack Hagg looks awesome. Carter Jensen's starting to look good. Salvi looks terrible. There's just so many holes on this roster, and we kind of thought that there was going to be this push forward on a lot of these guys. They all almost took steps back. Bobby Witt Jr. is incredible, but he has the injury that he's had to deal with a little bit. It's just it's a team that's really bad. Really, really bad. 35-50 in the AL Central is crazy, and it has allowed some of these teams that I'm also going to talk about in a positive way to take a step forward because them and the Tigers have been so bad. But I do need to apologize to the city of Detroit. Tigers fans, I picked you to win the World Series. Of course, we know the Dodgers are going to win. That's who the real pick was, but I just refused to pick them in my prediction videos. So I went with the Tigers. I thought that they were in a position to really push for it this year. It was Tarik Skubal's last year. Whether you wanted to believe it or not, he was not re-signing with the Tigers. Brought in Framber. I thought they had a good young core around them where they could go and make a trade for a big bat, maybe at the deadline, some more bullpen help, another good arm, and they were going to jump ahead because I did think on paper they were the best team in the AL Central. They suck. Oh my God, the Tigers are horrible, and that's with Kevin McGonigal playing great baseball. There's a lot of good things happening in Detroit, and some way, somehow, they're 15 games, or I guess 14 games under 500 right now. I did not expect the Tigers to be this bad. I thought a bad season for them would be like 82, 83 wins. They're on pace for like 70. Oh my God, what a huge, huge disappointment. For different reasons, the Tarik Skubal injury, again, sidetracked them completely, and they've basically had no consistency on their starting pitching right now. But yeah, I was wrong about these two teams. They suck. The Chicago White Sox are just so much fun to watch. The young players have stepped up huge. Munetaka Murakami, when he was healthy, was incredible. The pitching has been chaos, but it's been fun chaos. Davis Martin was really good at the start of the year. I love the young players. Colson Montgomery's great. Miguel Vargas has been awesome. Sam Antonacci's been one of my favorite players to watch this year. And again, I can name all the guys that are playing well on all these teams. It's not the point of this video. It's really just about me taking accountability for who I was wrong about. And in the AL Central, I was basically wrong about everybody except the Twins and the Guardians. They're kind of doing what we expected, but the White Sox didn't see this coming. I thought that they were still a full year away from being a competitive baseball team. Let's be honest, National League West, pretty chalk. This makes total sense. There's nothing to talk about there. And then out in the American League West, man, who was I wrong about? The Athletics are weird. I think I was more aggressive with them than I was for some other teams, but I don't think I was necessarily wrong. I thought that this was a weird division. I did think the Mariners were going to run away with it, and they're 500 right now. But because everybody but the Angels is still hovering around a place where they can be a playoff team, I don't really feel like I was particularly wrong about any of them, where they need to be talked about in particular, because every team in this division kind of just stinks. The Mariners are the most disappointing because I thought they'd run away with it, but Dan Wilson is horrible. What are we doing over there? A lot of teams just feel stupid this year, and the Mariners, who are a team that I didn't think would be stupid, are acting so dumb this season. That's the most frustrating thing. Shout out to my guys Lyle and TJ over at Bullpen Banter and the Marine Layer podcast. They're Mariners fans. We've been talking about this team as a whole, and every time I have a Mariners take, they let me know their opinion on it. But like, there's no excuse for this team being under 500. Dan Wilson's been terrible. There's been some just really, really bad stuff going on in baseball this year, and that feels like more of the issue. Had the Braves in third place, I didn't have them making the playoffs. They have been playing really bad baseball of late, but man, the Braves played great baseball for the first like 2.5 months of the season. They just hit a stretch right now where they haven't been sharp, but I also don't want to apologize to the Braves. Like, you know, I was right last year. Maybe I'll be right again. Probably not. They're good. They're really good. But the Mets did take a series off them. We are only halfway through the season, but I was wrong. I was wrong about a lot, like looking at my predictions. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on the teams that I got wrong down in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.